Hello, welcome to Mohs hardness scale. So we're going to theoretically test some minerals. We're going to learn a little bit about Mohs hardness scale. So if you remember, Mohs is the scale that we can use to help us identify the hardness of different minerals. So we're going to look at this scale to answer the questions that follow. Okay, if you notice, we've got a mineral. It lists the minerals right here. We've got hardness, which is a scale of 1 to 10. 1 is the softest mineral. 10 is the hardest mineral. So you can see talc is a 1. That's the softest mineral. Diamond is a 10. That's the hardest mineral. And these ones all fall somewhere in between. On this side, it tells you what these minerals can be scratched by, or minerals that have the same hardness. So if you look, talc can be scratched by everything on this list. Okay, gypsum can be scratched with our fingernails. If we rub our fingernail on it, gypsum can be scratched. Calcite can be scratched with a copper penny. Fluorite with an iron nail. Apatite can be scratched with glass. Feldspar can be scratched with a steel file. Quartz can be scratched by the mineral topaz. Topaz can be scratched by corundum. Corundum can be scratched by a diamond, and a diamond can only be scratched by another diamond. Okay, so we're going to kind of look at this. We're going to answer some questions. We might even test some stuff out. Okay. So I ran over and got my little mineral tray so I can pull them out and show you a few things here in a little bit. Let's look at number 1. So number 1 says, which mineral is the hardest mineral? So we would look at the hardness scale, the 1 to 10. And remember, 1 is the softest, 10 is the hardest. So the hardest mineral is a diamond. Okay, let's look at number 2. Number 2 says, name 2 minerals that can scratch topaz. So we need to come over here. We need to find topaz. And in order for something to scratch topaz, it's going to have to be harder than topaz. So if you go up, these minerals up here are not going to scratch topaz because whatever it is has to be harder. Okay, so what two minerals can scratch topaz? We just got to go down from there. So a 9 would be corundum. And the 10 is a diamond. So both of these minerals will scratch topaz. Next one down says which mineral is harder, feldspar or quartz. So here we've got feldspar, there's quartz. Feldspar is a number 6, quartz is a number 7. Which one of those two is harder? The bigger the number, the harder it is. So quartz is going to be the harder mineral. Number 4 says which mineral is the softest. So the softest mineral of all, we've got our 1 to 10. The softest mineral is the 1, so that's talc. Number 5 says which mineral can scratch glass but not a steel file. So these, we need to look for glass and steel file on this side. So these minerals can be scratched by, we want to know the glass, which is right here, but not a steel file. So right there. So which mineral can scratch glass? So we want one that's harder than glass. So it needs to be a 6 or greater because feldspar can scratch glass. Glass scratches apatite, okay? But we don't want it to be able to scratch a steel file. Looks to me like we're going for feldspar right there. Okay, so this one gets a little bit complicated, okay? So remember this right here says can be scratched by. The question is, which mineral can scratch glass but not a steel file? So here's the steel file and here's the glass. So it says which mineral can scratch glass. If we look at glass, this says apatite can be scratched by glass, not the other way around. So we're not talking about this one, right? But feldspar would scratch glass. because feldspar is a number 6 and glass has a hardness of 5. Does that make sense? Anything below these numbers with the higher the number, they can scratch the number above them. So feldspar can scratch anything that's above a 6. So feldspar can scratch glass, but the steel file, feldspar can be scratched by a steel file, not the other way around. So, which mineral can scratch glass, but not a steel file? Feldspar is the one. Does that kind of make sense? So we want which mineral can scratch glass. So any minerals that are below glass, so all of these down here, could technically scratch glass, okay? Anything from underneath glass down. So all of these things and all of these minerals on this side can scratch glass. The next part says, but not a steel file. So it can't scratch a steel file. So it's got to be something that's softer than a steel file. This says these minerals can be scratched by a steel file. A steel file is 6. Feldspar, get my lights back on. Feldspar cannot scratch a steel file. That's the other way around. Feldspar can't scratch a steel file, but feldspar can be scratched by a steel file. So feldspar is your answer right there. That one was a little bit confusing. It's okay. Phew. Okay, that one was a little bit rough. This one's a little bit easier. What number on the hardness scale is apatite? So we just need to look down the list right here. There it is. We need to come across, and that number is 5. Name 2 objects that could scratch gypsum. So this question on your form, I left as a type it in box, because if you look on our Mohs hardness scale, gypsum can be scratched by a fingernail, a copper penny, an iron nail, glass, steel file, topaz, corundum diamond, another diamond, and it can be scratched by all of these minerals right here too. This is asking for an object, so I would go for any of these things right here: steel file, fingernail, copper penny, iron nail, steel file. Any of those things is what I would put right here. So it says name 2 objects. So you just go in and type in any of these 2 objects, either a fingernail and a copper penny, iron nail, glass, steel file, any 2 of those things that you want to put in there. All of those can scratch gypsum because they're all harder than gypsum. Okay, so anything with a higher number than gypsum can scratch it, along with that fingernail right there, because it says gypsum can be scratched by a fingernail, plus everything below it. Okay. Number 8, last but not least, says what number on the hardness scale is corundum? So here's corundum right here. There's the hardness scale. So we're going to put a 9 right there. Okay. I hope this helps with this assignment right here. I know Mohs hardness scale is kind of complicated, but you're going to be okay. We'll get it figured out. We're actually going to get to test all these things out tomorrow during our lab. Y'all are amazing, and I hope you're having a great day. We'll see y'all later.